Welcome back to CoverStory Highlights, raw, unapologetic, and grounded in truth. Folks, I felt compelled to do this short episode after listening to an interview with the General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell. The first question that he faced was, is the PNP panicking? His response was an emphatic no. And truth be told, Campbell and the PNP base have a strong reason to be optimistic about the upcoming elections. The problem with us here in Jamaica is that we always put on our political caps, one way or the other. And then the avenue for objectivity is usually lost along the way, because we are seeing things with these blinders and these blinkers on. But the truth of the matter is that the Don Anderson poll findings recently published are not good for the Jamaica Labour Party. And I know I'm going to hear a lot of people say, oh, he's PNP, that's why he says that. But I have my reasoning. And if you guys out there can counteract this reasoning, then put it out there. Don't label me one party or the other. Just counter what I am saying with facts and with logics. And then it makes sense. But to say, oh, I'm talking crap and him this and him that, that is very vague and inconsequential in my view. It does not add to the reasoning and the objectivity of what we are about. So I am saying that the recent poll that I just saw, the PNP should feel good about it, because it's not good news for the Jamaica Labour Party. If the PNP executes a clinical ground game on election day, they are well positioned, and listen to me carefully, if the PNP executes a clinical ground game on election day, they are well positioned to retake all the seats they lost in the 2020 general election. I'll give you the reasoning now from the Don Anderson poll to back up my logic here. Now, the JLP is expected to unleash a flood of money on election day, and they will deny it, but we know they're going to unleash a flood of money because they're going to try to sway marginal seats, and the only way they think they can do that is to put money out there to suppress the votes, or even get some voters who are on the fence to come to vote for them. Historically, it translates into a marginal impact. And to my mind, it's going to be less than 0.5%. Less than 0.5%. So it could be about 0.4%. And this will be across constituencies that they would have targeted. Looking at the current polling data from Don Anderson, when we narrow down the support between the JLP and the PNP is at 50.6% compared to the JLP's 49.4%. Compare this to the 2020 general election, where the JLP dominated with 56.4% against the PNP's 42.3%. That's an 8.3 swing in favor of the PNP, a major shift indeed. Okay? So the 2020 turnout of 37.9% was shaped by COVID restrictions and an unmotivated PNP base. This time around, both of those factors are gone. And we'll agree they are not there. We don't have no COVID, and we don't have a PNP base now that is unmotivated. And we just have to look at their public meetings. We just have to look at what is going on the ground. And then if anybody out there, Labour Party supporters or PNP supporters, is going to challenge me that the PNP base is not motivated, then I think the level of bias there would be very, very profound in my view. So this time around, both those factors are gone. And with an energized base and the appetite for change that we are seeing reflecting in the polls, turnout is projected to rise above 50% in the election on the 3rd. So based on these dynamics, we here at CoverStory Highlights are expecting the PNP to win with as many as 40 seats and a lower end of 38 seats. And if we observe carefully what went on nomination day, it tells a story. The PNP clearly exhibited momentum, and I'm not saying that the Labour Party supporters weren't fired up. They were. But they are coming up against an energized PNP base. And we have seen, and I'm old enough to know, and I've seen voting patterns in this country. Whenever a PNP base is motivated and fired up, the PNP party is usually victorious at the polls. And anybody can challenge me on this in the comment section. So yes, nomination day tells the story, and that builds perception of winnability. In politics, perception often becomes reality. And in this case, it's likely to translate into real votes on election day, that motivated PNP base that we're seeing. So finally, just a note for context. I personally can't recall either of Jamaica's two major political parties gaining more than a single percentage point in the final 2 weeks of a campaign since polling began in Jamaica. I'm not saying it's not there. Other than 2020, which was a COVID year, and we're going to take that out of the equation because we know there were circumstances that really affected the turnout. So if anyone out there have evidence to the contrary, just drop it in the comment sections. It goes without question that the PNP has a bigger base than the Jamaica Labour Party. And if their base is motivated and this comes down to a base election, which is what it is shaping up to be, barring a swing, then the PNP, in my view, has the advantage with a 50% turnout of the electorate. And that was CoverStory Highlights. Tune in again next time for another episode of CoverStory Highlights. In the meantime, subscribe, like, share, and please drop your comments in the comment section. Thank you again, my subscribers and my viewers, for tuning in. We are enjoying your comments.